Hello, Original Soul. Welcome in to this reading. I hope you're doing super well, and thank you for sharing your energy. All right, so we'll jump into the cards right away here. Already got some oracle cards pulled out, and it definitely feels like sorry, an interruption. Thought my dog was just ringing the bell to go out, and now he's laying down. Anyway, back to focus. It definitely feels like sort of a renewal of maybe your light, your passion. Potentially you've been feeling a little lackluster, a little dim, maybe even in some sort of downward spiral. Maybe shutting out love, or kind of working with a lot of energy of blame and things not working out. So seems like that is turning around. So let's see here. We'll get some tarot to go with it. Oh, that one flipped over. Let's see here. So the first card out, you can choose love, number 12. So this is all about getting in the energy of love and compassion. And especially if people have hurt you, whether it's, by things that have said or just people's actions or inactions, just reminding yourself that all of us, including myself, including you, right, when we do things that maybe are a little bit more sort of low energy, low vibrational, that's usually operating out of some sort of trigger or wound or our own hurt and pain. So when you can sort of, think of it in that way, right, you can start to just focus on yourself and focus on the love energy. And with that, the Four of Wands. All right, so like I was saying, you could be in sort of this maybe sort of blame game energy, or kind of pinpointing with everyone else why things may or may not be working out. So taking a good look at your own reflection and just noticing what you see. And instead of finding that blame, especially if you are even blaming yourself, how could you breathe more love into that situation to really up-level your energy and uplift things and really work through whatever that shadow or trigger may be, right? Just notice when those things happen and start to work through that energy. For some of you, this could have to do with maybe a long-term relationship, potentially even a marriage or a family member. Okay, let's move on here. Out of the next oracle deck, 3 cards wanted to come out, and 2 of them were out last week. I'm going to share 2 things about this. I'll hold these up here. So we've got Spiral, the beautiful image on that card. We've got Magic in reverse, which this came out last week, also in reverse. And I put it back in upright, but it still came out in reverse today. And then Serpent, which was also out last week. So some recurring messages, maybe some things that still needs to be embodied, or an awareness brought to, since Spirit is re-bringing up these cards and these images. Now, with Spiral here as well, I don't know if you can see this back here next to my incense mess, but my pendulum, starting yesterday morning, for whatever reason, when I set him down, I've been like putting the chain in a spiral. Normally I do not do that. I normally just kind of plop them down wherever, don't really pay much attention to exactly what the chain on the pendulum is doing. But like I said, just starting yesterday morning, I just felt the need to do that. And same with today. So I really just thought, at least for myself, that was sort of interesting with Spiral coming out here. Spiral number 50. Right, so maybe number 50 is pertinent to you. But this is about being renewed, maybe starting sort of a next phase, It actually talked a lot about that you've done a lot of healing and maybe some shadow work, and maybe you can take a break from that, or you don't need to keep focusing on things that you've already addressed. You've already shed the skin of the snake or the serpent. And so now it's time to let that new skin form, which can be vulnerable, a little bit scary. So, right, allowing yourself to kind of move on, right? You don't have to stay in that energy or always be doing healing work necessarily. Right now, maybe it's time to have a little bit more fun, or again, put yourself out there in a different way or start something new. With magic in reverse, this is just maybe not seeing all the magic and wonder around you. Like I said, if you have been kind of closed off and pushing away love, or in more of a energy of just hurt and pain, or even maybe focusing so much on healing, right, that you might not see some of these new opportunities or some of the synchronicities that might be around you. So number 33 on that card. And then the serpent card, number 46. This is about awakening energy. So you could work with your chakras or have some sort of kundalini experience, but definitely focusing on, I'm just picking up sacral chakra. That's your second energy center, associated with the color orange, and that's about your creativity, your sexuality, your passion, and relationships with others. And then also, of course, your heart chakra, since we've been talking about hurt and pain and maybe needing to choose love in the way that you present yourself and the way that you act and react in different situations. All right, so out with these cards came the Magician. All right, so there's that word magic again in the Magician. So definitely a big message to really open your eyes, to awaken, right, to all the amazing, unique, and even mysterious things that are around you. And Magician is also about starting something new. All right, something with passion. I mean, he's holding this wand kind of up in the air, ready to go. And knowing that you have all the tools, all the experience, you've probably learned a lot from whatever situations that you've been through. All right, so really strong message there of moving forward, right? Getting out of that old skin that you've already worked through and possibly healed through, right? And now letting something new form. All right, and then out of the herb deck, Light in the Darkness, St. John's wort. All right, so, right, depending on where you live, for some of us, we are moving closer to the winter season. Where I'm at, definitely, right, it's getting darker and darker. So maybe you even use St. John's wort. Maybe that's something that's part of your regimen or part of your plan. But a light in the darkness, it talked about how this plant has this magical capability of sort of absorbing and harnessing all of the sun's energy and then being able to save that light all through the winter, so it can stay replenished, rejuvenated, and more bright. And so really taking that to heart as well. Like I was saying, maybe you felt a little dim or a little down, and really just letting things shine. Right? Finding again that wonder and magic that can lighten and brighten you up. And also when you move towards something new and let go of the old, right? How that refreshed and renewed energy can really bring in some excitement, some happiness. Again, just that sort of heat and that energy, that passion. All right, and with that we got the Ten of Pentacles and the World. All right, so Ten of Pentacles, this is about abundance. This can be about an abundance of energy. Again, maybe you have been more depressed and just feeling really tired or even out of it. So this is getting that more lightened up, right? And there seem to be a lot of fireflies here on this card, which are always really cool if you have seen those. Like I said, this could have to do with your family situation. But this is definitely about feeling content, feeling sort of rich. Maybe it's with money, right? Maybe you get some sort of bonus coming up at the end of the year, some sort of promotion or something like that. But definitely get into a receiving mode instead of a lack mode, because there is going to be an influx of energy, possibly. I don't know why I'm picking up communication. That's usually a swords energy, but maybe even communication coming towards you. You may even find something out that kind of brightens and lightens you up about your family. Or maybe there's even a little bit of a repair of a rift or some sort of separation. And then with the world, right, this is the end of one cycle and starting of a new. This is the last major arcana in tarot. You may see hummingbirds, fairies, salamanders, or gnomes as signs and synchronicities for you, or fireflies like I was just talking about. We've also got obviously snakes out here. She's also holding sort of that similar wand in that hand that the magician has in his hand that he's holding up. So definitely kind of stepping out fresh and new, stepping out of an old pattern, stepping out of an old cycle. All right. So really powerful and strong energy after maybe a period of not feeling that way. All right, and at the bottom of the deck, Queen of Wands energy. Maybe check out the Sagittarius season reading, because a lot of this sort of similar energy came up, which makes a lot of sense. We're just starting out in Sagittarius season. Let's see here. Let's get the messages from Archangel Michael. Normally my intent is to get one. 3 came out of this deck as well. Just like this center oracle deck here, which I'm like forgetting the name of right now. But let's see what we've got here. Believe and trust. Your inner guidance is real and trustworthy. So there we've got that word trust twice. Forgive yourself. You've done nothing wrong. And so as we were talking about at the beginning of this reading with possibly blame or shame, right? And when you look in the mirror, if that's sort of how you feel even about yourself, it's time to bring in more love and compassion. All right, I'll read each of the prayers on these cards. I don't know, there might even be a hummingbird here on this first Archangel Michael card. So before going to sleep, it recommends to say, Archangel Michael, please enter my dreams and replace fear with faith and trust. Let me be filled with strength, courage, and confidence, which we were just talking about. So that's really beautiful. Let's see here. This is about your inner guidance being legit and you can trust it. Please help me clearly hear, see, feel, and know the divine guidance that I have asked and prayed for. Allow me to keep my ego out of the way so your wisdom can come streaming through me for my own benefit and for those around me. And I like that about putting your ego aside. That actually came up in last week's reading, is letting go of ego. Or maybe it was the new moon reading, one of them. Right, when you can get out of your ego too, that's where more magic can come in. And this could start to be in the upright instead of the reverse. All right, and then let's read the one about forgive yourself. You've done nothing wrong. I ask that you help me let go of self-blame and forgive myself. Please guide me in releasing any toxic anger or fear towards others. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for allowing me to feel centered and at peace. All right. So maybe a couple sort of prayers or thoughts you could bring in during meditation to work with. All right, let's see here. We'll add an angel tarot, a spirit animal before we close this out. So allowing yourself a little bit of grace as you work through whatever this is or was. And allowing yourself to move forward. Choosing love. All right, let's see here. What angel like to be present and available during the time that you find this energy or this reading. I just saw the Lovers there. So like I said, this could have to do with relationship. 5 of Wands. Haaiah, number 26. God listening in concealment. Politics and ambition. Wins judgments and protects all those who seek the truth. All right. 5 of Wands can be about fighting and competition, a little bit of combativeness. So again, that could be something that's been in your situation or in your field recently. I don't know, maybe you're into politics or someone you know is in politics. As the one card was talking about letting go of ego, right? This is talking about wins and judgments and different things like that. So just noticing if that is any of your energy where kind of winning at all costs is more important than anything else, or how you view success and those sorts of things. But protecting those that seek the truth. All right. And that's where, again, slowing down, getting within, listening to your higher self, your own inner voice. Right? That's where your truth starts to come out. Right? Which is your soul speaking to you. Kind of taking out all that external garbage that can kind of muck everything up. All right. And it can definitely make it hard to listen, hear, or be aware or awakened to even your internal signals or right, the magic that is within and around you. All right, let's see what spirit animal wants to pop out for today. Okay. Ooh, dear gentleness. This goes right along with what we've been talking about. Definitely being gentle with yourself. This is a reminder to be more gentle with yourself and others. The grace, sensitivity, and gentleness of this spirit animal echo the qualities brought forth when living from the heart. All right, that is a beautiful way, a beautiful card to kind of end this reading on. So choosing love, right? Allowing things to kind of bloom anew and renew. Right? Instead of dimming either yourself or others, letting things shine, being more uplifting, stepping out of patterns and cycles, moving forward with confidence and with courage and a little bit more trust in yourself. All right. I love this message and reading. If you do like to find affirmations, maybe we could set one here. Let's see. How about this? I renew my light. All right, you renew your light. So again, what can you do this week to kind of find all these things that we were talking about, right? Getting out of the shadows, getting out of maybe so much seriousness, getting out of fighting or blame if that's been something that's been going on, and starting to choose love, starting to choose magic, starting to let go and release a little bit and start to trust yourself a little bit more, and maybe even get excited about kind of that next thing like Spiral was talking about, even if it's a little vulnerable, right? Things want to get moving and get going and be uplifting and shine. All right, so that is what we've got here for this reading. We renew our light. All right, I hope there was something here for you in this message. And until next time, peace.